Well, good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? Are you enjoying your Christmas to New Year's gap? Let's see who's in here. I said hi to a few of you this morning. I saw some talk in here about Jody Poo. Ho, ho, ho. I can't stand her. Hello, JC from Denmark. Snazzy Trinkets, we have been emailing back and forth. Terry made it in. Hello, JTB in the house. Jules got out of bed for this. Thank you, Jules, for your cooperation. Uli made it in. Hello, Bob. Wait, what? I love that YouTube name, by the way. Good morning, Amba. JC with the butterfly. Hello. Ilyanka's in. Christina has been having all kinds of sweets for breakfast. I did see that, so she's going to be extra hyper. She said, by the way, it's cherry pie, not cherry piss, but I hope they visit today. So she had cherry pie for breakfast, not cherry piss. Cherry piss won't be in here. Cherry piss doesn't care about Summer Wells. Cherry piss only cares about her crush on Steve Goncalves. That's all Cherry piss cares about. Hello, kitty cat mom. Cotton candy made it in, and sugar cookie. It says sugar cookie, then cotton candy. And Christina had a bunch of sweets for breakfast. I think we're in a good place then. Mermaid made it in. She did. Is Mermaid a gnome? You are. You are a gnome badge. Good. Good. Real Talk with Amanda's here. Everybody's on fire this morning. Tell you what. It is finally warming up. Thank goodness. It was like 64 degrees here yesterday. I did not have to wear my socks. Yes, that's right. I was barefoot all day. Loved it. No socks for me again today. It's going to be in the 60s. I'm fine by that. Snow finally got her dick badge, everyone. Let's have a round of applause for Snow, who has her dick badge. Everyone. She is a 1-year member now, so she has the Dick Clark badge. Congratulations, Snow. You are in a very distinguished club. You are. Greater things are always on the horizon. Look at that. Dare to dream, and you can achieve. We just spoke about this badge the other day. Look at Snow hanging in there. Look at that. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Tell you what, this storm in Western New York has really got me anxious. So as it's warming up here in Oklahoma, it's going to warm up there. That's the way it goes. And they're talking about like 4 foot plus of snow on people's roofs, of course, on the ground. So now, after basically what looked like an end of times storm, they could possibly be having a flood. It's horrible. Horrible. Every time I see a news clip about it, I'm not even there. Houses were frozen up there. Yeah, don't even get me going on all the airline problems. Mermaid needs an eye exam. Don't bother Mermaid with the problems in Buffalo, New York. It's all about her. Anything else we could do for you today, Mermaid? You're a gnome badge. It is something else. I was telling everybody in the members live Tuesday morning, I said, I thought it was a trailer to a damn movie. I thought James Cameron was at it again. And then I saw, oh, hell no. It's real life. It's real life. And I am, the way that it's been handled makes Ronnie Lawson look like he's doing a good job. And that's really hard to say. That's really tough to say. But that is the topic of convo today. Our buddy Trevor has been rattling them cages, if you know what I mean. He had a very interesting conversation with Leslie at TBI yesterday. No ifs, ands, or buts. So there's not going to be any more of these rumors. We don't have them on here anyway. But people that are screaming that the TBI took this case over. Oh, no, they did not. No, they did not. She answers it in black and white. They are still serving on this case in the same capacity that they have from day one, which is basically just an extra arm if they need it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Trevor also spoke to Detective Pruitt, not one of my favorite people on the planet, meaning Pruitt, not Trevor. Love Trevor to death. I think this conversation is really going to open your eyes as it did mine. But we've come full circle. Here we are, 18 months and some change from when Summer Wells disappeared from her home in Hawkins County, Tennessee. A 5-year-old child vanishes and no one is held accountable. None. There's an open investigation, and as of yesterday afternoon, they were still trying to rule out foul play. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a detective. I'm not in law enforcement. I back the blue 100%, but I'm going to help them out. This one's on the house, guys. If you're still trying to rule out foul play, then there's something pretty damn foul going on. If you can't rule it out, then something very foul is going on. Something very foul. There's something extremely foul if you can't rule out foul play. 18 months in. 18 months in. So between the DA, the sheriff, and the one investigator, who the only thing he can really say is, if you want to get an application and join the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, be my guest. No, thank you. That would be your job. That would be your job, Pruitt. And it's okay to reach out to other departments, utilize other resources when you're having trouble. Would anybody here think badly? Now, let's forget about the last 18 months. It's hard to do. But would anybody think badly of Hawkins County Sheriff's Department if they said, we are utilizing every resource that the FBI has to offer and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation? I wouldn't. I would celebrate it. Look at recent cases. Little Harmony Montgomery in Manchester, New Hampshire. They didn't think twice about it. They didn't think twice about it. Bring it on. Bring on every resource we can get our hands on. Chatham County, Georgia. The chief looked relieved. The chief looked relieved at his second press conference about little Quentin Simon when he said, I couldn't believe the way the FBI showed up. He said, they showed up with 40 investigators. He said, I can't thank them enough. Then we have this circle jerk, I almost said the DNA, the DA, the sheriff, and the one investigator sitting around in a circle like they're at a damn campfire, just waiting for someone to stumble across Summer Wells or call in a credible tip. That ship has sailed. That ship is long gone. Long gone. What the hell is going on here? What is going on? We have a couple of comments to go through. We're going to bring up our friend Trevor. I want him to hear some of these comments with me and get his take on them, see how his Christmas went. Eileen said they aren't working the case. Time to call in the FBI. What's wrong with it? Deb, good point. Michael Vaughn, they utilize those resources from the get. They have a FBI agent in Fruitland, Idaho, right there helping them. Now, you don't have to call the FBI and you don't have to call your state bureau if there's a crime in your state. You don't have to, believe it or not. In Oklahoma, and for good reason, I'll tell you, it's a different case. Certain cases, and I don't know the criteria, but these little rural departments, and I'm talking about Oklahoma, every state has them though. When you don't have any investigators or detectives on staff, or you only have one that has never investigated the case that's on your desk, you have to. You have to reach out to the state bureau. That's about to become a law here. I don't know if that's the law in Tennessee because I'm being very fair. When Summer went missing, the DA called the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in that same day. I mean, by midnight, they had been alerted that they had a missing child. So they did call them in. I just don't think they're utilizing them. I just don't think they're utilizing them. I think they want to run their own show. I think it's disgusting. Let's see what Trevor thinks. Anybody want to take a guess on what Trevor thinks? Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning. Good morning.
We might have to put you in the witness protection program, Trevor.
I don't know. After this past week, I might have to agree.
I mean, you are shaking it up. So you have a petition to remove the sheriff from Hawkins County. There's one.
Yes.
I know that you spoke with Leslie at TBI, which you've spoke with her quite a few times, but yesterday was a little different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You've been calling Pruitt.
Yep.
You got the Attorney General. Now, not the Attorney General. You explain the Attorney General looking into Hawkins County.
So I tried to contact the Tennessee Attorney General first and got nothing back. So I went to the USAG of Eastern Tennessee. So, of course, they have an Attorney General nationally, Merrick Garland, and then they have Attorney Generals that represent the DOJ for each section of a state. So the Eastern District of Tennessee would be Greenville, Tennessee, which is about near Hawkins County, and then eastward until the end of the state. So I contacted him, and they sent me a letter back saying that they were referring what I sent them to federal law enforcement, which I assume is FBI Knoxville, but they wouldn't say.
Okay. That is awesome. And in the last show, we did say if you are a tax-paying citizen of Tennessee, don't be shy to mail a letter. If you can do it certified, that's even better because people, we all know how we ignore the phone. We don't have to open those emails, if you know what I mean. We don't have to do all that. But it's hard to ignore a letter, particularly if it's certified and you got the attention. You got the attention and they told you that they're looking into Sheriff Lawson in Hawkins County.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome. Well, let's go through some comments from the last show. There's one that's not from a show, but it needs to be brought up. And we're going to get to it, my friend.
Let's do it.
Okay, everybody gets a say, everybody gets an opinion. You know how we do around here. It doesn't mean we have to agree with each other, but, we need to be heard. Angel said, poor little girl, I think she went outside further than she was supposed to and quickly got lost. This is 40 miles from me. I drove up there last June and approached the property from Ben Hill Road, being very careful not to trespass or bother anyone. It was like being in the Smoky Mountains where you can walk 10 feet in, even on a trail, and have no idea which direction you just came from. If she usually never wandered off by herself, as her mother said, that's all it would take is that one time by herself, and I'm betting she'd done this before with her brothers, but thought she'd be fine on her own. Now, when I first came across the case of Summer Wells, which was June 16th of 2021, that was my first show about Summer. I compared her case. Now, this was over a year and a half ago. to the case of little Vady in Alabama. Little Vady was chasing her dog. Her grandmother could not keep up. Her grandmother called 911, and it took about a day, day and a half, maybe 2 days to find little Vady and her dog. And that's what I said. I said she's probably somewhere around there, and they're going to find her. As the clock ticked and other things came out, well, you can see the evolution as to where we are now. I said, hell no, no. And foul play, I'm not causing an argument with Angel. I'm just saying this is how I look at it, and everybody weigh in. We don't dogpile, we just have a discussion. I don't think foul play would be a discussion, and I don't think it would be on the table. It wouldn't be on the burner at all, and it would have been ruled out a long time ago if we wouldn't be discussing foul play. And if she had wandered off, I believe with that extensive search, she would have been found. We've gone through, this is our second winter, 2 falls and 2 summers, and nobody's come across Summer. What do you think, Trevor?
I agree, and I'll make 2 points about that comment. So first, there was a similar case using that theory here in the area, about 3 or 4 hours away from me, but very similar terrain. Elijah Kinsinger was about Summer's age, and he wandered off from his house. They lived on top of a mountain, on top of a hill, not many neighbors, a lot of land. He wandered off near the evening time. He just went out to play and walked too far and didn't know where he was. So TBI called in an Amber Alert, a missing child alert, brought in FBI, TBI, the whole gang, and everybody was in there out there searching. And I went up there, and it was the same kind of area as Summers. But within about a day, he was found sitting out there, and he was okay. He was cold, and he was scared because he was lost, but he was perfectly fine. But it took maybe that day to find him.
I remember that case, and the TBI again was very heavily involved from the get, and they found him just like they found little Vady. There's a case in Colorado, not similar terrain, and a little boy did wander off. They found him not alive. I mean, and it took 6 months because they had to wait for the snow and everything to go away, but they did find him. So people don't evaporate. They don't vanish unless somebody wants them to vanish.
Mm-hmm. And in this case, and I won't speak in other cases, I don't know how the searches were done, but I do know how searches were done in Summer's case. And the best way I can describe it is if you look at Ben Hill from a point on Google Earth, which I'm sure a lot of people have, I've done it a million times. You zoom out, you see right there where 110 is. Put your finger down and draw a spiral going out and out and out on the screen that you have. And that's basically how the searches went. They started in and went out, out, out. So if she was anywhere within distance, she could have walked, run, rolled, jogged. She would have been found in that search grid.
And they had a very strategic search. It wasn't a bunch of people walking around going, Summer, Summer, and getting another Mountain Dew and sitting down. They were shoulder to shoulder, taking very small steps, looking straight down. Then you had the helicopters, the drones, the dogs. So, and it went on for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Extensively. They had about 8 states worth of agencies in taking turns searching, 8 to 8, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And I think they said, I know I read it was the most expensive and extensive search Tennessee's ever had. The only one second to Holly Bobo is what I read.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. But if they haven't ruled out foul play in a year and a half, I'm just going to go with something's foul.
Yep. I agree.
They obviously came across something foul, or it wouldn't even be a conversation. These are their words, not mine. Darlene said, I think the parents know where she is. I think someone has her. It's just my opinion, of course. It's all about the look Candace gives Dawn on the first interview they did together. Someone has Summer. You can tell by the way Candace looked at Dawn. A lot of people have said, and again, this is not anything new. It just needs to be said again, that their behaviors were extremely off. Now, I highlighted the comment from Sword of the Spirit that says, from day one of searching, both parents refers to her in the past tense. Now, I get a lot of people, you guys have probably seen it, that come after me and say, get off the past tense thing. I will not. I will not. And the reason is because there are many, many probable cause. There are many indictments. There are many pretrial publications. There are many things that DAs have pointed out at investigators. And one thing they bring up is the parent, the suspect, aunt, uncle, whatever you want to call them, the one that did it, referred to the victim in past tense. So I will not get off the past tense thing. Our brain does not, to this day, Brandy Neal refers to Michael Vaughn in the present tense, even though she has been confronted by the chief referring to him as remains. Now, if that doesn't tell you something, my only thing, I'm going to look what Terry said. And again, this is not an argument. She said, maybe Candace is just weird. It doesn't mean she killed her. And that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. My problem with Candace from the get has been her lack of looking for Summer the day that Summer went missing and her past history of child abuse. That really bothers me. She had 2 children taken from her by the state of Wisconsin, and I don't know if she got in trouble, but that tells me a lot that she has 2 children. At one point, one of her children, also named Candace, Candace the third, was an endangered runaway in the state of Wisconsin. She was contacted when her daughter was missing, and to see if, when she ran away from her foster home, if Candace knew had any contact with her. Not only did she not care, she told them to never contact her again. When the girl became of age, she contacted her biological mother, and she was told to F off. And I feel terrible for that girl, that she even had to repeat that story. Terrible. What a life. Awful. Susan, now this was in regards to Madalena, who is another case that we're covering in North Carolina. Madalena is missing, and I had put up a article about how the FBI is involved, and Susan left a comment, and it says, why is the FBI involved with Madalena and not Summer? I can answer that. They can't come in with tanks and take over. For something to be a federal case, unfortunately, it has to be a lot more than a missing person, even when it's a child. I know that's hard to swallow, but it's the truth. Hang on. You have a lot of background noise, Trevor, so I had to mute you for a second. So, from what I'm understanding, if you look at Fruitland, Idaho, Manchester, New Hampshire, Chatham County, Georgia, they wanted the FBI involved. They wanted the FBI involved. They wanted their state bureau involved. In one of them, the marshals got involved. So whatever resource was available, they wanted it, they needed it, come running. Come running. It appears to me that the DA, the sheriff, and the investigator don't want those resources. Katerina, exactly. The FBI card team was involved. Once they ruled out an abduction, the woman with the TBI that used to speak out, she is involved with Amber Alerts. She went away. Now, they kept the Amber Alert up, but she went away. So they were involved, and they can be involved now. Ronnie doesn't want them. Ronnie doesn't want them. Talkin' Tennessee says, I'm blocked from HCSO's Facebook page. My problem with that is that they're a government entity. How can they block their citizens, their tax-paying citizens? Now, if you're harassing them and you're threatening them, well, they wouldn't block you, they would just come arrest you. That tells me a lot that when people are asking or advocating for summer wells if they would get blocked. What do you think about that, Trevor?
I've been blocked. I think within the past week, I went to go pull up their page and it was gone. And I figured they took their page down again because they take it down every other week when people get upset. So I had somebody else go check and it was up and it was unavailable for me. And I went to the messenger where I'd contacted them a long time ago and it was unable to message because I was blocked. And the funny thing is with that is I don't even comment on their things like that. I messaged them when Summer first went missing, asking if I could help search, and I and I messaged a while after that asking to speak with Sheriff Lawson. And since then, I've never messaged them. I rarely comment. So they've seen my personal page since all my stuff about that I post about is public, and they blocked me from there.
Good God. That is freaking shameful. Shameful.
And 100% illegal.
That's a government entity. Terry says, in my opinion, we need to look at Sherpy Jr., JS's son, RL's son, lots of creepy weirdos around there. And I agree. The only reason that I go back to Candace Wells is because, well, her history, and her and Grandis were home. They were home. They've got to know more than I was planting flowers and she got abducted. They've got to know more. They've got to know more. Tiramisu said, is Don Wells out smoking crack yet? Well, he's out, but I don't know if he's in the crack yet. I don't know. He's out, and I'm really surprised he has not said anything. I figured he'd be burning up the tube.
He had it lined up too. People were waiting for him.
Snow, are they back living on the hill? Last I heard, they are.
Yeah.
Have you gone to visit, Trevor?
I've been by. They were having a. I know at one point when they first got out, they were having a barrel fire. So they're up there. I think Grandis is gone, but I think the two of them are up there because they were having a fire.
Toasting marshmallows, making s'mores.
Yep, probably. And then Candace was seen more recently throwing away a bunch of stuffed animals and a map of Kentucky at a car wash nearby when she cleaned out her car.
She threw out some stuffed animals. Say that again, Trevor. Slower for me.
She was seen, and this was a car wash that had been looked at by TBI. The person I talked with, he I guess is a manager there, works there, and their cameras had been reviewed by TBI because I think Candace had used that car wash before, and it was in between her house and Warriors Path, so in the Kingsport area. She was seen about a month ago cleaning out her car, throwing away stuffed animals in the trash can, and a map of Kentucky, or a map involving Kentucky on it.
Nothing weird about that. Everybody carries a map of Kentucky and a bunch of stuffed animals with them.
I carry all 50 states, a map of it, even Hawaii, in case I ever drive there.
Dear God. Wicklow, any truth in the rumor that CW is expecting? I'm going to guess no. I've been hearing that Candace is pregnant, well, for 18 months now. I think
she's been pregnant for a while, so.
Yep. I've been saying, Candace, yeah, we've been hearing Candace. I think that's just a beer belly. I think that's just a beer belly.
I think they do whatever they could to avoid another child with what they've. I mean, they lost their 3 boys. They don't care. They lost Summer. They don't care. I mean, you went over her children before that she lost. I mean, why have another one? They never cared about the other however many.
Yep. Terry said, look at Athena Strand. Yep, we covered that case too. Same kind of situation, but it's not. It's really not. It only does take seconds for a child to disappear. You're 100% right. Why would there was no delivery drivers there? Candace and Grandis were the only 2 adults home. To get on that property, you would have to be Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. And they've looked at everybody around them. But then again, I can't trust this investigation. They need fresh eyes on this, period. They need fresh eyes on this. And Candace needs to tell what was going on that day. She needs to tell. She was home. She said she had eyes on Summer until Summer went inside to visit her brothers. Then she went in the basement to look for her. And then that was it. She was gone. She was gone. She said she looked under the mattress that's laying on the concrete floor. She said she looked under a couple blankets. She walked outside. She looked to the right. She looked down because Summer used to play there by herself. And that was it. She was gone. And then she went and told her mother, and her mother said she was abducted. And here we are. Here we are. It's crazy.
I will say a big difference in regarding that last comment in Athena's case is when he saw Athena, she was right there. There was an opportunity he could see her. There's no visibility to see Summer on the property of her house.
And when that question came up, I think it was the third press conference, they said they had interviewed basically every delivery driver in the area. They know their routes. They know who was on that road.
Well, Lawson said it'd be hard pressed to find somebody we haven't spoken to. That was one of the first things he said out there.
That's about the only thing that he has said that's made sense is when he said, anything you've thought of, we've already gone over.
Yep.
Still, they need more hands on deck. There's nothing wrong with having a TBI agent or an FBI agent right there in Hawkins County, starting from the very beginning. It's easy to miss stuff. It's extremely easy. I mean, look at the case, and I understand it's totally apples and oranges. You have a quadruple homicide in Idaho. So you have, they believe one person did this.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 60 FBI agents, like 20 from Idaho State Police, 6 from the town to find this one person. Then we have the disappearance of Summer Wells. We have one DA, one sheriff, and one investigator. They are not utilizing the TBI.
Nope.
They are not utilizing the TBI. They're not utilizing the FBI. So let's start with your conversation typed out to Leslie. She's in blue. I got to pull it up over here. I think I've got it on my phone. That's too light for me. Hang on, and I will pull it up. Here we go. All right. So your first question that you posed to Leslie, you said, had the investigation moved at all? Has the investigation moved at all towards a resolution? She replies, it has not. I can tell you that agents continue to follow any and all potential leads. That's plain and simple enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you said, without disclosing any specific details, has the TBI been able to determine a last confirmed site of life of Summer? She says yes. So since they have said repeatedly she was last seen at her home early afternoon, June 15th, 2021, they know she was seen alive on June 15th, 2021. So she answers you right there because you said, without disclosing any specific details, has the TBI been able to determine a last confirmed site of life of Summer? Yes. And they have never said any date other than June 15th. Can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So she was alive on June 15th. All right. This one I find to be very, very, very interesting. Not that they're not all interesting. You asked Leslie, you said, in many missing children's cases, we see parents charged with neglect or similar offenses well before the case is resolved. Is there a reason the Wells haven't been charged with such crimes, even though their children were removed and never returned? She said that is a question you would need to direct to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office or DCS. Our role in the investigation, per a request from the 3rd Judicial District Attorney General's Office, is to assist the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, or DCS. Our role in the investigation, per a request from the 3rd Judicial District Attorney General's Office, is to assist the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office in investigating the circumstances leading to the disappearance of Summer Wells. We have not been requested to got some background noise. We have not been requested to investigate allegations of abuse or neglect involving the Wells family. So she says it right there. They are not in charge of this investigation. Our role in the investigation, per a request from the 3rd Judicial District Attorney General's Office, is to assist. They assist Hawkins County. They're not running the investigation. Techni girl, you're right. It's like hitting a brick wall then. They are not in charge of this investigation. The 3rd Judicial District Attorney General's Office requested that they assist the sheriff, the DA, and the investigator. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not been requested to assist. They're not assisting shit because they're not being reached out to. She goes on to say, Margie Quinn is the new commissioner for DCS. She was appointed earlier this year and would be the person to contact if you have any specific concerns or questions about a DCS investigation. Huh.
She made sure to throw that in there.
Yeah, talk to Margie's ass. Leslie has nothing to do with it. She says, talk to Margie's ass. And we were told by the 3rd Judicial District Attorney General's Office that we are here to assist Hawkins County if they need us.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to assist.
That's the thing. That's all they can do. TBI is only the way they were written into law when they were created was to be an agency that assists per request, because there's no cases that they can only take over. FBI assist as well, but they can take over cases if they're federal. If there's a federal crime, there's no crime that only the TBI would cover, because there's only state crimes and federal crimes. So they're only an assistive agency. They can't, even if they would take over this case in a heartbeat. I would almost for sure, certainly they would take it over, because I know they've had issues with Lawson and with Hawkins County since the beginning with the way they've handled things and not let them be involved. But they can't take it over. It's not legal.
Nope. And it's like that in every state. It's either a federal case or a state case. And to make a federal case, you're way too young to remember. And do you guys remember the case in southern Texas? A gentleman, I hate to even bring this up. It's too horrific to even think about. His name was James Bird. I hope I'm not saying I hope I don't have the wrong name. And by some very, very racist individuals, they drug him behind their truck and killed him. The sheriff of that town begged the FBI. They said, no, you can handle it. It's your jurisdiction. Finally, as it started making its wave around the country, what happened? The president made a comment about it. The governor of Texas, pretty much every governor in the state said something about it. Then the FBI took a deep breath and said, well, what we have on our hands now is a federal case because the president's talking about it. They got deep, deep, deep involved in it. I think they've already put 2 of them to death. Anyhow, for this to be, if this isn't going to be a federal case, I'm sorry to say it. I'm not being mean, but it's the truth. So what you have is Hawkins County. You have the DA, the sheriff, and the investigator. They have the TBI and they have the FBI. They could bring the FBI card unit in and they would do it. They're not reaching out to them. When I think about the chief of police in Chatham County, when he gave that second press conference and he said, I called the FBI and boy, were they here. 40 of them showed up. I couldn't be more grateful, he said. And look, they have found, it's heartbreaking. It's terrible, but they have found little Quentin Simon. Oh, don't even get me going on that. And his mother is in jail for murder. We would be much further along, I believe, if they had utilized these resources.
Without a doubt.
So I'm going to read that again. She says, our role in this investigation, per a request from the third judicial, if I could talk, Judicial District Attorney General's Office, is to assist the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office in investigating the circumstances leading to the disappearance of Summer Wells. Now, if you see the banner at the bottom of the screen, it's the same banner that I've had up for over a year and a half. 800 TBI find. They're not, no, the people involved are not going to call 800 TBI find. And the one that would do anything, she would give her left leg. She would give her right arm to be involved. Jody Sue. She would love to be involved, but everything she has spouted out is a lie. It's nothing but bullshit. She has done nothing but hinder this investigation. Think about all the hours that Hawkins County, and yeah, I'm feeling sorry for them, all the hours that they have spent on telephone calls about shit that she has put on YouTube. Doesn't it make you sick?
Definitely. It's ridiculous. She saw an opportunity and disgustingly took it.
Amazon wish list. I can't tell you how much money that woman's made. I swear to God, one night I think she was asking for like $2,500. And people were cash apping her. Because, and these are good people. Don't get me wrong. These are good people. And they really believe by helping this piece of shit, by helping her, that it was going to somehow unlock some sort of memory of hers that would help Summer Wells. These aren't bad people. These are good people. Plant Diva said, no shame in her game. Nope. Nope.
Not one bit.
Nope. So we do not believe for a minute, no one's naive here, that Margie Quinn, who's the new commissioner of DCS, is going to say, glad you called. I've been waiting for someone to ask me about Summer Wells. Man, no, she's not going to tell anybody anything. She's not going to tell anybody anything. But with a few voicemails on her phone call from tax-paying citizens of the state of Tennessee, whatever she's working on with Summer Wells might get done faster. I don't know. I don't like the mob mentality when we bother people that have jobs to do, but you know what I mean.
I just don't see how they haven't been charged. At least, everybody can set aside June 15th. The boys were removed for abuse or neglect. That's how it works. They were never returned, so the parents were deemed too neglectful to even get their children back 18 months later. Yet, no charges?
Yeah. And I don't know what Google genius told me this. I have forgotten that it takes 18 months. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. In Oologah, Oklahoma, actually not too long ago, we call it Department of Human Services here. They had gotten a call about something going on at a house. Police showed up. They called Department of Human Services. They came, removed the children, and they had charges on the parents by noon that day. So no, it does not take 18 months to do an investigation. You took children away from their home.
The longest portion is the permanency plan. And I'm speaking for this year, for Tennessee. I don't know other states, other areas, but they try for a 15-month permanency plan. Charges are separate. You can be charged day of, you can be charged within an hour, however long. But return of the children is a 15-month plan. So they aim to have children in a permanent house, whether it be back with their biological family, a biological grandparent, uncle, aunt, cousin, or back with the parents, or in a foster home that plans to adopt them within 15 months.
Well, we're past 15 months.
I think they lost their rights.
And no charges for neglect or endangerment. And no, that doesn't make any sense to me.
But you had grounds to terminate their parental rights. That takes a lot. Like, people don't realize a judge can't just willfully say you don't have the right to your biological children anymore. Like, there has to be true justification for a judge to be able to terminate rights, because you don't get them back.
And no charges. And like Leslie said, if you have any questions about charges on Dawn and Candace, because they have lost 3 children. This is aside from Summer. Then contact, that would be up to Hawkins County.
I attempted to ask Pruitt that yesterday, but you saw how that went.
Yeah, we're getting ready to listen to that. I look at the case of, well, Cody Bixby was just brought up. I look at the case of Oakley Carlson. They put her parents in jail. I think the dad's out now because they can only hold you for so long. They can't just lock you up forever. This isn't,
Yeah.
This isn't a Turkish prison. Then I look at in Manchester, New Hampshire, just an eyewitness account. That's really all they had was Adam's uncle, and they put him in jail. Now he's charged with murder. They don't even have a body.
They put Megan Boswell in for false reporting.
Yep, they did.
And that's one county over. That's what blows my mind is the county I live in. Our sheriff is like vice president of the Sheriff's Association, well beloved. I mean, I have a good relationship with him. I think he's an incredible sheriff. Then you go one county over and you have this mess in Hawkins County. It just, if Summer would have been missing one county over, I feel like, everything would have been completely different. It's sad how that works.
Is your sheriff still Sheriff Cassidy?
Yes.
Man, I love that guy. I followed, still do, heavily the Evelyn Boswell case. Man, that dude was on it. I will never forget when he came out. I mean, his face was red and he was talking about her and he said, every time she talks, it's always a different story.
Mm-hmm.
He was so put out with her. He had her ass arrested. I think it was the day that she was on WJHL and said that she was there to take a lie detector test, but can't take it because she's pregnant. Well, for one, Sheriff Cassidy said they don't even have any sort of lie detector machine, and they don't have anyone to administer it. That's the reason I have always doubted the polygraph story in Hawkins County, because if the county over says we don't have anything like that and we don't have anyone to administer it or read it, then how does Hawkins County? Did TBI show up with one a couple of days later? I don't know.
Hawkins County definitely doesn't have one. I don't know if they had another agency bring it in, which would surprise me because in this case, this is the agency that's not wanting anybody else involved. So.
And I mean, I don't care about polygraphs anyway. It's just something else I have thought about. If Sullivan County is sitting there with a missing child who, I mean, Megan, she didn't even report her own child missing. Her father did. That's the reason you have Evelyn's law in Tennessee. She waited over a month. And if they didn't give her a lie detector test, why would they give one to Candace?
Yeah.
Hillbilly, Texas. Sullivan County doesn't have one. Hawkins County damn sure doesn't. And it was always kind of odd to me when Brian Enton asked Ronnie Lawson, he said, they said they passed their lie detector test. And the way that Lawson said it back to him, he said, yeah, they said that. So the way I took it is, yeah, they said it. That doesn't mean they took one. That doesn't mean they passed it. But I'd have to look at that again. So we have cleared that up. Great work, Trevor. Now let's listen to the conversation that you had with Pruitt. Is that okay?
For sure.
County Sheriff's Department. Choose one of the following departments. For detectives, press 1. For narcotics, press 2. Please select the number corresponding to the party you wish to reach. For Lieutenant Cliff Evans, press 1. For John Pruitt, press 2.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Detective Pruitt.
Hi, Detective Pruitt. How are you?
I'm good. Who am I speaking with, please?
My name is Trevor Lee.
Okay, Mr. Lee, what can I do for you?
I had called previously, and I think you had called back, and for some reason it never showed back up for a while. But I had called regarding Summer Wells' case. Just wanted to touch base on that case since there's been no public updates in so long.
Well, if we get any new information, it will be a press release.
Okay, so there just hasn't been anything evolve in the case then?
Well, I'll refer you to my previous statement, sir.
Okay. Well, is the sheriff's office able to comment on anything about how people like the Wells have not been?
It's an ongoing investigation.
Right, but are you able to answer any questions?
It's an ongoing investigation, sir.
Right, but are you able to answer any questions, sir?
As I said, it's an ongoing investigation. Any details that we come to light will be released in a press release.
So no questions are available to be answered.
Thank you for your concern. Have a happy new year and good day.
Oh, he told you Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like we expected him to open up the case file for you, but he's just so smug and indifferent.
Well, I've never met someone who wouldn't even take a question. I didn't expect him to answer I didn't expect Leslie to answer all my questions. And I said that in the beginning of my email. I said, I understand if there's anything you can't answer. And I even specifically said without disclosing any information. But I fully expected she may just say, this is an ongoing investigation. I'm sorry, I can't answer those questions, but at least respond. He interrupted me. I said, can I ask a question? He said, this is going to be a press release. He wouldn't even let me ask a question.
What press release? We haven't heard anything in over 18 months. You've got to have something. If you haven't ruled out foul play, at least on the 18-month anniversary, there was nothing on WJHL. Rogersville Review, after they refused to talk about Ronnie Lawson's son, they won't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Nope.
And now you're blocked.
Yep.
Wow. And you were very polite, Trevor.
First thing I said, how are you doing?
Yeah, you did. Well, he told you Happy New Year.
That was very kind. Right before I got hung up on is, have a Happy New Year.
He told you Happy New Year. Let's listen to that again. Hold on. A couple people are just coming in. Hang on.
County Sheriff's Department. Choose one of the following departments. For detectives, press 1. For narcotics, press 2. Please select the number corresponding to the party you wish to reach. For Lieutenant Cliff Evans, press 1. For John Pruitt, press 2. For
Wait while I transfer your call.
Detective Pruitt.
Hi, Detective Pruitt. How are you?
I'm good. Who am I speaking with, please?
My name is Trevor Lee.
Okay, Mr. Lee, what can I do for you?
I had called previously, and I think you had called back, and for some reason it never showed back up for a while. But I had called regarding Summer Wells' case. Just wanted to touch base on that case since there's been no public updates in so long.
Well, if we get any new information, it will be a press release.
Okay, so there just hasn't been anything evolve in the case then?
Well, I'll refer you to my previous statement, sir.
Okay. Well, is the sheriff's office able to comment on anything about how people like the Wells have not been?
It's an ongoing investigation.
Right, but are you able to answer any questions?
It's an ongoing investigation, sir.
Right, but are you able to answer any questions, sir?
As I said, it's an ongoing investigation. Any details that we come to light will be released in a press release.
So no questions are available to be answered.
Thank you for your concern. Have a happy new year and good day.
Happy New Year, Trevor. I'm just going to refer you back to my previous statement.
What a load of crap. And then when I actually try to fit in a question, he's like, hey, nope, you're not asking any questions. I'll just refer you back. We're going to make a press release that we've never made since day one.
Never made a press release. All they did was talk about their search effort. That's it. They've
And then
talked about their search effort.
and then complained about how much it cost. Ronnie was on WJHL on an article talk about it. This is just so much. It just cost our department so much having to do all this, and it's just we've shut up. There's a missing kid. I don't care how much money it costs you. If you ask for help, you won't have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. And when you call and you go through the menu, they've got one investigator. One investigator cannot handle this. Sorry, one investigator. One investigator cannot handle this. They need more resources, and those resources are available to them. FBI card unit already ruled out abduction. They can't rule out foul play. And if she wandered off, they had the most expensive, I'm using their words, most expensive search effort in Tennessee history. So where is she? Where could she be? Where could she be? I mean, I'm not one of those that says they need to release information or anything like that, because I think that that's a really dumb thing to do, to let the people that don't want to be caught know what's going on with the investigation. You know.
Definitely. And I think there's also, and I mean, I know you agree, but there's a difference in opening up the case file and commenting on the case. If you open a press release and say, we're still investigating the case, you open it, say, monthly, every 15th of, I mean, it doesn't matter, every few months, every 6 months, come out and say, we're still working this case, we're investigating foul play, abduction, we've involved this, and this, FBI, TBI, all that. Then people would be like, okay, they're working on it. When you don't talk about it for 18 months and then tell people to shut up because they woke you up during your midday nap on your desk, then you wonder why people are concerned with you not doing anything.
It's crazy. It's just like when I look at the case, just because it's so recent, but Chatham County with little Quentin Simon. Mm-hmm. When that chief, he knew, and they have investigators. He has investigators there, but he knew it being a missing child, and this is going to be a lot hairier than what he's used to. They called the FBI. They come in. Next thing you know, they're draining swimming pools, listening to all kinds of lies and rumors. When I read that indictment, I mean, it's dated, all the BS they were having to go through. And when he said 40 of them showed up, and I couldn't be more grateful. I just don't think Ronnie Lawson's going to do that. I just don't think he is. I don't think the DA is in any hurry to prosecute anybody.
Nope. They searched around the area. They did, like we talked about, they did a huge, extensive, they did a great search, involved a lot of people, and then they left it there. I mean, look at even, like, again, we'll look at Cassidy we'll look at Sullivan County and Hawkins County. There was that pond or that body of water that they searched in North Carolina when they were looking for Evelyn. They drained that. They went through that pond.
Mm-hmm. In North Carolina.
They went all the way to another state and did that because there was a potential, even if it was a small chance, that she was there. Pruitt said they didn't have the manpower to search the Hawkins County landfill. But Sullivan County will go through water in another state.
They can't search the landfill, but then you have Chatham County. You also there was a landfill search in Utah. There was one in South Carolina. There was one recently in Michigan. And it's a 5% chance you're going to find a person in a landfill. It's a totally different beast. They call in specialists from the FBI. In all of those cases I just mentioned, they brought in specialists from the FBI. See what I'm saying? They don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going off of these other cases. The people that do know what they're talking about, that's what they did.
Yep.
In Utah, when they couldn't find Lori Hacking and they realized she was in the landfill, that her husband had put her in there, they called in, basically the people out of Quantico, like they did in South Carolina. I think the little girl's name is Nevaeh, they found. Little Quentin. They brought in specialists to do it. We're not asking for Pruitt to put on his duck waders and get out there and dig around. God forbid. He wouldn't know what to do.
In today's day and age, there's so much help for a department like his, and it's just ridiculous to refuse it when there's a missing kid.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't 100 years ago when it's just a local county sheriff and his 2 deputies having to do this all on his own. I mean, you can pick up the phone and within a minute have your local FBI office involved, your state department involved, any local agency that you want them to help. If he asked Sullivan County to help, I know they brought in divers. They did help with that. You call in any kind of agency from anywhere, and they're helping. With a 5-year-old missing child, they're on site, dropping everything they're doing. They're there.
They can utilize the FBI card unit in a heartbeat. He's just not going to do it for whatever reason. And then my question is, and we all know that Dawn and Candace, well, I'm going to talk about Candace because Candace and her mother were on the property the day that Summer disappeared. I use that word in jest. How often do you think they call for an update? Where are you on my child's case? Dawn said on June 18th, you're never going to find her. June 18th of 2021, he was speaking to Jeff Bobo at the Rogersville Review. So that was 3 days in. How often do you think Candace, who was at the house and tells the story about when Summer disappeared, how often does she call and ask for an update on her daughter's disappearance? I really wonder about that. Grandis, I don't have to wonder about that because when Lawson said they're not cooperating and Grandis went on WJHL and she said, they know how to get a hold of me. And she said, I called them about some YouTubers back in December. Well, she basically proved his point. She's not cooperating. She called about herself. She called about people outside of the property. She's not calling about Summer.
No, they were so out of tune with the investigation that Dawn didn't know when they did their big grand scale search. I think it was the second one after the 2-week search had died down. When they came back in the fall, when the leaves had fallen, he didn't know. He went on YouTube, wherever he was interviewed on, and said he didn't know that they were coming until they got there. That's not normal. He has not been involved at all in what's been going on. None of them have.
And I
also tells
go ahead, sorry.
It also tells you about the investigation is they don't feel comfortable. So Dawn and Candace have not been reaching out, or they would have known about the search, but also shows that somebody isn't comfortable telling them when they're coming to search either, which tells you something. If Hawkins County was working alongside them, they can call and say, hey, Dawn, we're going to be there at noon. We're doing a big search for your daughter. We'd like you to you can come out if you want. I mean, whatever. We wanted to let you know we're still working this. It comes from both sides that it's just, they don't care.
What a great point, because I remember when they did the second search in the fall, Brian Enton was out there and he was starting his investigation and he was talking to Dawn. I think Dawn was fresh off his DUI, when he drove away from the courthouse without a license and the whole 9 yards. And he was talking to him about the search. Dawn wasn't aware of a search. Why would they not communicate with the parents of the missing child? We're starting another search today, but they didn't. And let's not forget, they're still suspects. They have never even come out and been like, they're fully cooperating with our office. Anything we need, they let us know. I think it wasn't too far in to when the communication started breaking down with them.
Exactly. I mean, it's just, and that shows that they've never been ruled out. If they were able to rule, that's what people are like. People have always keep telling me that they're not going to rule anybody out until it's solved. You know how many tips they get involving Dawn and Candace? They would love to come out and say tomorrow at a presser, anything else, nothing else. Dawn and Candace have been cleared in this case. Their tips would go in half in a day. If they could clear them, they would.
Well, let's look at that. What Leslie said. Now, this is just Leslie. Leslie is not an investigator. She's not an investigator. Leslie, she's the communications person. But anyway, she was asked yesterday by our buddy Trevor, is anyone not cooperating with your investigation at this point? It reminds me of when they had the 1-year press conference for Little Monkey Vaughn, and Chief Huff was standing there. He paused. He sat there for a minute, and he goes, there's people not cooperating. And of course, everybody was like, whoa, boy, okay. Now, shortly after, they totally cleared the parents. But anyhow, so you asked yesterday, is anyone not cooperating with the investigation at this point? She says, in any case, and every department does it different, every state does it different. But she says, in any case in which we are involved, we try to avoid characterizing cooperation. Doing so can actually hurt the investigation and fuel public speculation one way or another. Well, the hardest questions are the ones you can't answer. You know what I mean? She knows she can't answer that question. Lawson already answered it. Back in March of 2022, he said, no, they're not cooperating. Everybody's a suspect. It's crazy. Makes me ill. I found an old, it's all old anymore because we have zero updates, but Nick Barris, hopefully I'm saying his name right. I came across him. Well, he's done some coverage of Summer Wells, but he did a ton with Evelyn Boswell. And I really like his coverage. He was the first reporter to come out and mention foul play. Let's look at this real quick.
Good evening. Tonight, a change in the effort to locate missing 5-year-old girl Summer Wells. Plus, there's a possible new lead that could explain what happened to the little girl.
Tonight, we have exclusive Sky 5 video from the search site, and News Channel 5's Nick Barris tells us a shift in strategy now focuses on the possibility of foul play.
We flew over Summer Wells' home in Hawkins County in Sky 5 to see for ourselves what crews they're up against. After nearly 2 weeks, they found no trace of the little girl, and now the strategy moving forward has changed. This is an aerial view of the family's home on Ben Hill Road in Rogersville. Woods literally surround the home. It's very tough terrain, full of venomous snakes, briar patches, and an occasional bear. Plus, it's been very hot. Crews have spent long days the past 2 weeks doing line searches, as you see here in a field just across from the home. Others hit the woods using bloodhounds, but never finding the girl's scent. The only thing they have found is exhaustion.
I've had multiple of my guys come up to me and tell me, Captain, I'll go to the end, but I'm tired. I'm physically and I'm mentally tired.
So the incident commander says crews are scaling back search operations to focus on more specialized searches. This comes as more attention goes to the possibility that Summer was the victim of foul play. No one is giving up on the search.
We are all one team, and we will not quit until we find Summer Wells.
Summer was said to be planting flowers outside the home next to this camper when she went inside to play and then vanished. Was she abducted? We've learned there are more than 40 registered sex offenders living in the family's zip code, and the TBI now hopes to find the driver of a pickup seen in the area when Summer disappeared, a maroon or red Toyota Tacoma. The person, they say, is not a suspect, but a potential witness who may have heard or seen something that could help. Certainly, any solid lead could help. I'm told with no trace of Summer found, it appears less and less likely that she just wandered off and more likely that she is the victim of foul play. No.
I just love this reporter because he just says it. She couldn't have just wandered off. He's like, we're weeks into this. We've had helicopters, drones, grown men, grown women, dogs, been all over Hell's Half Acre. It's less and less and less likely that she just wandered off. There's foul play. Okay, the FBI card unit said she wasn't abducted. There is no sign of abduction. What does that leave us with? Where's our process of elimination? Something foul AF happened to little Summer Wells.
Mm-hmm.
Something foul AF happened. I'm not saying it was Candace. I'm not saying it was Grandis. I'm saying that they were there that day because they said they were. I will say Candace has a history of child abuse. I will say that. I don't know where the hell Don was. Don says he was at work all day. Candace was on, I think it was Outlaw Truckers panel and said she has no idea where Don was that day. She said that day. She said she doesn't keep up with him. They don't have a marriage like that. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
She said they don't have a marriage like that. She only keeps up with her kids. As she's sitting on a panel talking about her missing daughter, she only keeps up with her kids, she said. She got 3 in foster care in the state of Tennessee. She got 1 missing. And she said, "Oh, I just keep up with my kids. I don't know where Dawn was that day."
Well, if that's how she keeps up with her kids, we know she doesn't keep up with Dawn at all, if that's what she considers keeping up with her kids.
Gotta be kidding me. Drives me insane. So all I know is what the experts that are privy to the case file tell us, which is the FBI card unit said there is no sign of an abduction. They're not ruling it out. They're not ruling it out. The people that are experts at searching have said she didn't wander off because she's not out here. That doesn't mean that she didn't, though. And then we're a year and a half in, and they're like, we can't rule out foul play. And in the midst of all of it, a little girl just just vanished.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask a question, it's as if you're doing something wrong.
We're terrible people for wanting to know what happened to a little girl in our community. And that's the thing, is they can forget it because the parents have. In most cases, like we talk about, the parents are the ones pressing the issue. If they're not involved, the law enforcement can't give up because they're at their doorstep every day asking where their kid is. But when Don and Candace just go and have fires and roast their marshmallows without any kids in the house, then law enforcement can say, hey, we can just give up on this. They have.
Marisay said, why would you look for anything you haven't lost, Brooks? They all have the answers. I mean, if you know, you know. A lot of people think Jody Sue does know. I just don't, because, well, for one, she sleeps all damn day. She's up all night. And they have said the scream is unfounded. She doesn't want this to ever go away because, well, this is how she supports herself.
Yeah, I don't think she knows anything about it. I mean, I just think she's a shock jock. She saw the opportunity and took it, and turned out to be even more than she thought it would be. Now it's 18 months in, no answers, and she can probably drag this on until the day she dies.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, these are well-meaning people. They really are. They really think that if they keep listening to Glitter Nails, that eventually she's going to tell something that's going to lead to finding Summer Wells. It's disgusting. Absolutely. Well, Trevor, I can't thank you enough for your hard work and for getting those answers for us. I think the most important thing is, because it seems to be a big argument besides the damn reward fund, is TBI being over the case. They're not, never have been, never will be. They are there to assist if needed. And between the DA, the sheriff, and the investigator, they're not beating down their door for help.
Nope.
The FBI card unit, that is a resource they can use at any time. They're not doing it. And like I said, we look at these other cases where they have used these resources and made full strides to get to the end result. The end result is tragic and it's horrible, but the child can rest in peace. Exactly. I'm going to listen to this clip one more time, because in this old stuff, there's always...
Good evening. Tonight, a change in the effort to locate missing...
There's always something that we forgot, because when they said a new lead, I got to go back and figure out what the hell the new lead is. They seem to forget that. Let's listen to this real quick. Then I'm going to close this down.
I think they mean the truck.
The truck. Oh, yeah. Where is that truck? We've been looking for that truck for the longest time. It's like the white Hyundai in Idaho.
Yeah, I think they're done with the truck, though. When they released on the frequently asked questions why they asked for it, I think they gave in on the truck.
5-year-old girl Summer Wells. Plus, there's a possible new lead that could explain what happened to the little girl.
Tonight, we have exclusive Sky 5 video from the search site, and News Channel 5's Nick Barris tells us a shift in strategy now focuses on the possibility of foul play.
We flew over Summer Wells' home in Hawkins County in Sky 5 to see for ourselves what crews they're up against. After nearly 2 weeks, they found no trace of the little girl, and now the strategy moving forward has changed. This is an aerial view of the family's home on Ben Hill Road in Rogersville. Woods literally surround the home. It's very tough terrain, full of venomous snakes, briar patches, and an occasional bear. Plus, it's been very hot. Crews have spent long days the past 2 weeks doing line searches, as you see here in a field just across from the home. Others hit the woods using bloodhounds, but never finding the girl's scent. The only thing they have found is exhaustion.
I've had multiple of my guys come up to me and tell me, Captain, I'll go to the end, but I'm tired. I'm physically and I'm mentally tired.
So the incident commander says crews are scaling back search operations to focus on more specialized searches. This comes as more attention goes to the possibility that Summer was the victim of foul play. No one is giving up on the search.
We are all one team, and we will not quit until we find Summer Wells.
Summer was said to be planting flowers outside the home next to this camper when she went inside to play and then vanished. Was she abducted? We've learned there are more than 40 registered sex offenders living in the family's zip code, and the TBI now hopes to find the driver of a pickup seen in the area when Summer disappeared, a maroon or red Toyota Tacoma. The person, they say, is not a suspect, but a potential witness who may have heard or seen something that could help. Certainly any solid lead could help. I'm told with no trace of Summer found, it appears less and less likely that she just wandered off and more likely that she is the victim of foul play. No announced suspects at this time, but authorities consider everyone a person of interest. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Everyone's a suspect. They're not talking about me. They're not talking about you, Trevor. But they're damn sure talking about those 2 women that were on the damn hill with Summer Wells that day.
Hey, you'd be surprised. Some people do ask where I was that day.
Where were you, Trevor?
Definitely not anywhere near Ben Hill.
Nope.
I think I just anybody that goes out of their way to hang out at Ben Hill should be interviewed by the police just for that on its own.
Mm-hmm. They didn't plant any freaking flowers that day. They didn't. Nope. It's one thing after another with those 2. One thing after another. Trevor, keep up the good fight. We're here for you, my friend.
Always, and thank you for the platform. And this is always a good time coming on and chatting about all this craziness.
It is. It is. I'll message you after this in a little bit.
All right.
Yep. Trevor jumped off. I think that's a really interesting news clip with Nick. You know, when he just flat out says, as time has gone on, and this was very early on, it's less and less likely she just wandered away from her house. They had they act like it's just a few buddies and a case of beer that were wandering around. No, it was a very extensive search. Superhero, there needs to be accountability. Yes, there does. There does. If she just wandered away from her house, kids have done that. It's heartbreaking and it's terrible. She would have been found. So what happened? FBI card unit says no sign of abduction. Sounds foul AF to me. All right, you guys, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. unless something pops up. And if I have the time, I will pop on here. You know the drill. Make sure you're subbed. Make sure you have the remind all selected. So that way you know when we're live and we can hang out together. And in the meantime, I'll either see you over in Discord. If you want to join the Discord, send me an email and I'll get you in. Or I'll see you in one of the Facebook groups. Like I said, you know the drill. But in the meantime, thanks for being the absolute best true crime community on the streets of YouTube. See you later.